Hey, this is Gary Collins, creator of the Primal Power Method, and I am here with Ty and Dawn of Paleo Meals To Go. Thanks for coming on today. I found out about your company in a very interesting way through a kind of an associate in the paleo primal world. And I actually after they told me, I got interviewed by someone else who had actually just tried your products like the week before. So it was kind of interesting timing. If you guys would, kind of describe what your company is all about and what your products are to people who are unfamiliar with them.
You want to start first?
Go ahead. It was your idea.
Okay. So I started the Paleo Diet in early 2013, and I heard about it from an ultra running colleague of mine, and
Okay.
he does these 100-mile races all the time, and he also suffered from some GI disorders, and he'd been battling them his entire life, and that was kind of further problem. He developed all kinds of problems from that, and he asked, he was like, you got to try this paleo diet. And of course I did, because he had seen tremendous improvement with that. And that was, in springtime, and it was pretty easy to stay on the paleo diet for when you're at home and you're in Denver and you can go around all the natural grocers and find products here and there, and prepare things fresh. But I'm an avid outdoor person as well. I was running marathons, camping, hiking 14ers in Colorado, doing multi-day backpacking trips, and that summer I was preparing for my first, 3 or 4 day backpacking trip here in Colorado, and went down to REI and was trying to find some freeze-dried backpacking meal that would even be close to the paleo diet. And I whipped up my phone right there, and couldn't find anything at REI, and then I went on Google, and I Googled for probably 10 or 15 minutes, and I didn't see anything out there, and I was like, man, I don't know what the rest of this paleo community is doing for this. And unfortunately, I was forced to, buy what was available at the time. And because when you go backpacking for multi-days, it's really difficult to keep things, shelf stable in your backpack that's lightweight and all that. So I pretty much roughed it that backpacking trip. And about 2 or 3 days in there, I was absolutely miserable because, I was loading up on all these things that I had completely cut out of my diet for several months. And I basically made a vow to myself, like, I got to figure out, either do more research when I get home or try to understand, how other paleo people are doing that. And so over a process of a few months there, I was, kind of doing some research on my own, and I hired a consultant off of Elance to do some, further market research for me. And I really didn't come across anything. And, then I brought my mom into the picture late that fall and asked her if she could do some additional deep dive market research. And that's when she went out to some paleo blogs, backpacking blogs, and it seems pretty consistent out there in the paleo space that there wasn't an option available for paleo that was freeze-dried, shelf-stable for all the outdoor ultra runners, backpackers, hikers, climbing trips, just anything where you need something paleo that's going to last for as long as you're going to be out there, and it's lightweight.
Yeah, no, I was actually very surprised by the product because I'm an outdoorsman too, and I've ran into that issue. And when we'd go camping or get out there, it was hard. I usually just packed a bunch of jerky, to be honest with you. It was jerky and water, and after about a couple days of that, and you've had it, you can't take it anymore. Um, but yeah, you guys sent me some of the meals, and I was really surprised at how big they were. I couldn't finish the first one. It was so big once I got it all, got all this water in there, and it kind of steamed up, and I opened it up and I went, wow, that's a lot of food. And that was really good because a lot of the freeze-dried meals I've had in the past were small. You'd spend a bunch of money and you'd eat one, you go, okay, now I got to eat another one. because that wasn't enough. And they load them with beans and all kinds, everything that is anti-paleo basically, and little chunks of meat if you're lucky. And that's basically the premise. And that's interesting you say that for the ultra runner. A lot of endurance athletes complain about GI issues. Well, you know why? It's because they're carb loading nothing but processed grains and beans. And that's where a lot of their GI problems come from, because I'm a practitioner as well, and I deal with this all the time. And what did he say when he made the conversion? How was he replacing some of the carbohydrates in order for him to be able to do long distance endurance?
Yeah, I think, it was interesting. I'm not sure he had read the Dr. Cordays book on the Paleo Diet for athletes, but, it takes sometimes, I don't know exactly what the timeline is for different people, but, it takes several months for your body to kind of transition from burning fats from your high caloric demands, burning fat versus carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But he found is that he transitioned from, eating, he would take sweet potatoes, for instance, and eat those. He found some, they're not branded as paleo, but there's some different goo type. I don't know if you're familiar with goo packets.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with goo packets.
Yeah, there's different versions out there that are based on almond butter, and
yeah, they've gotten a lot better. They
used
to be just garbage. They used to be just highly processed sugar, just gelled sugar. That's all they were. But they've gotten a lot better now. They're starting to catch on that it just can't be pure glucose. It has to be something else. But yeah, I just was curious because I have a lot of followers who were I'm athletic myself, and I'm always curious, and I talk about, transitioning and how to eat properly as an athlete. Because if you're not active, the transition of going from your standard American diet to paleo is different than if you're athletic. It is far different. And then if you're a competitive athlete, that's even a whole nother deal. So it's the diet has to be tweaked depending on what you're doing. And I get on the paleo community for not understanding a lot of that, but that's a story for another time. But with that, like I said, I really liked your product. With that, so what did you start with? I mean, what was your first one that you came up with in order to create now? Because you have several of them now. So what was the first genesis? What was the one you started with?
We started with the beef mountain stew. It was actually based off my mother's recipe that she would cook on the stovetop, because it's basically just beef and vegetables with some spices in it.
Yeah.
So it's just a process of sourcing the ingredients all in freeze-dried form and experimenting and tweaking, and came up, and I think that might be our most popular meal, actually. I think it sells the most still, the very first one.
Well, it's a heck of a lot better than the beef stew MREs I used to eat in the military and overseas, so trust me, those are god-awful. Oh, God, I still have nightmares over MREs. Some of them were so bad. But so from that, you transitioned. Did you find kind of a viable market? Because like I said, I'd never seen it before until someone introduced me, and I'd just given up hope at that point. How hard was it to do that, and how accepting were stores that you're getting into? I mean, like REI and some of the camping stores, were they receptive to a paleo freeze-dried meal?
We actually just sold on our website, direct to the consumer, for several months in the beginning. And until we got our USDA certification and started co-packing in a facility that was under inspection, we weren't really able to sell in stores. So we're just at that point now where we're making the conversion and hopefully going to be in stores pretty soon.
So you obviously you started in the Colorado area, and that's something I don't think people understand, is if you don't have that USDA certification, you can only sell within that state. You can't go outside state lines, depending on the state too. It depends on county, city. There's so many rules and so many regulations out there. I can't even imagine what you guys went through just to get that. That was probably the hardest part of the business, I would imagine.
That's exactly right. It took weeks to sort through and figure out who was going to inspect us, and There was a lot of discussion whether, because we were selling online and it was direct to the consumer, but it was outside of the state, and yeah, we went round and round and had different answers from all the different entities, and it took forever to get that worked out.
You mean the government couldn't give you a straight answer? Imagine that. You're looking at a guy that worked in it. So, the last part of my career was with FDA. So trust me, I know. When the people who work for the agency don't know the rules, it's confusing. I mean, literally, we would sit there and I would look up through regulations and manuals, and one regulation would conflict this one. And, I'd have to try and answer someone's question, and I'd go, well, I honestly don't know. And then I'd have to kick it to a legal team in Washington, D.C., and it would take them 3 months to get me an answer back, and then you'd read their answer and you go, huh. And I as a business owner now, I look at it and I go, gosh, how do people navigate some of this stuff? And honestly, you just do the best you can. That's what it boils down to. And if you're doing your due diligence and you're not trying to cut corners, usually they're okay. I mean, they won't come down and put the hammer down on you. You go, hey, I didn't know. I called everyone. Here's my list, and these are the answers I got. And that's about the best you can do. But that's really exciting. I'm glad you guys were able to get this product going. So how long has it been out now?
I think we sold our first bundle in December of 2013.
Oh, wow.
So
a year and a half, basically, still in that startup mode and trying to get everything going. Well, are you in major chains now? You said you were now in distribution.
We're still doing mostly direct to consumer.
Okay.
We're on Amazon and of course our website, and then we're just starting to get some traction here with different outlets.
Grub
market, some farmer market. There's some interesting farmers markets here around Denver.
Oh yeah.
But our big push was just to get our kind of the online system, all the online based, all the kinks worked out of that with our fulfillment center and ingredients coming in and the co-packing, just kind of getting all that process optimized. So then we could kind of let that go on autopilot and then focus on our, retail distribution system.
Yeah, and I have quite a bit of experience in kind of not only doing the investigations, but I've worked for companies as well in distribution. And I always tell people, not that I'm the all-knowing expert, but from what I've seen, is people who jump into distribution too early, it's an easy way to go, ruin your business and go bankrupt. Because people not understanding how the distribution chain works. There's a lot of free fills in the beginning, which means you have to give away free product in the beginning. You have to greatly discount it. You have to have the margins in. And it gets really, really tricky. And I've seen a lot of companies go under who jump into distribution way, way too early. And I think you guys are doing it right. Focusing on your online customer, because that's your core. And you're in the right area. I mean, heck, you're in Colorado, for God's sakes. I mean, that's the perfect place for this product. I mean, you couldn't have picked it any better. With all the outdoor enthusiasts, and there's a ton of farmers markets. I've spent quite a bit of time. I lived in New Mexico, so I used to go to Colorado quite a bit. So yeah, that's outstanding. What are some other flavors that you have right now that are available?
we have the Summit Savory Chicken. I'm not sure if I sent that one to you or not.
I got the chicken, beef stew, and I got one of the breakfast ones.
Yeah, the breakfast, we have two breakfasts that are pretty much the same. The base is almond meal and flaxseed meal and coconut. And then we have one that the Palisade pineapple mango has pineapple, mango, and banana. And the other one has strawberries and blueberries.
Yeah, those are the four I got.
Yeah, okay. We're going to be releasing some new meals, I don't know, within the next month, I hope. Another breakfast that does not have coconut in it, because we notice a lot of people order just the meat dishes, so we think they don't like coconut. So that's a Butte banana cacao breakfast.
Oh wow! Oh, that'll be fantastic.
That
sounds really good.
It's a good one.
You guys making me hungry.
You like it best?
Yeah, that's my favorite meal so far.
And then we have right now we only source our meat in freeze-dried form beef and chicken. So pretty much everything is, going to be beef or a chicken dish. So we have a bedrock beef chili coming out. So it's a beef chili and then like a white chicken chili.
Oh, wow.
And a pineapple chicken curry dish.
Wow.
So
those sound really, really good. So has the paleo community been very accepting? I mean, so far, I mean, I would expect they would be. I mean, these are great.
Well, yeah, our webmaster put a coming soon, bedrock beef chili coming soon on the website, and so we have lots of inquiries lately. When are the chili recipes going to be available? So that's a top priority for us to get those on the market. But yeah, I think they're very accepting. We get great reviews, and people seem very positive, eager to have more flavors.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and with the paleo menu, it gets a little tough, especially in the beginning, to kind of create the variety. But once you get your system in place and you kind of experiment more, with the dehydrated foods, it opens up a whole nother box of ideas, because once you dehydrate something, which I've learned over the years, you can dehydrate any food pretty much. It doesn't matter. But, to get it to the paleo side makes it a little more trickier. But people think paleo is so strict, and you guys are obviously proving that it's a misconception. That's the first thing I deal with clients. They go, what am I going to eat? I go, well, everything except for grains, legumes, and dairy. Pretty simple. If you go, I'm a primal guy, so I do allow people to do dairy, long as it's raw, organic, and that's where primal and paleo are different. Primal is about the lifestyle, all encompassing, and that's what I teach. It's like a whole life evolution is what I call it, from downsizing, changing your diet, and changing your attitude. I tell people that too. Don't be a jackass in life, because if you stay that way and you act the fool, but you clean up your diet, that really doesn't help anything. So I'm a kind of all-encompassing guy, and not to say that I haven't been called that at certain times, but it's, and that's how I embody it. And that's why I like products like yours, because obviously that speaks to a lifestyle. I mean, if you're making dehydrated meals for packers, athletic, people who are athletic hunters, that's my world. I mean, that's what I like. And it is a huge benefit, because I'm waiting for you guys to come out with a couple other flavors, because, I'm out in the sticks. I live out in Northeast Washington, and I went out for a 4 or 5 hour trip trying to find a little stream for fishing holes. And I was like, man, I'm hungry. I got nothing with me. And I thought that would have been perfect just to throw in my Camelback, have one of those. Because what I did with your breakfast one is, I'll be honest with you, one of them I didn't even put water in. I just ate it. I just stuck my hand in there and I was eating it like a snack. And it was just as good dry is what I really liked as it was when I put the water in it. And for me, that was perfect, because I said, oh gosh, not only can I pack this, I don't have to actually put water in it if I don't want to. I can eat it. And I actually tried the beef one that way too before I put water, and I started snacking on it. I know you're looking at a guy who used to eat dog biscuits just to test them out before he gave them to his dog. So I'm a goofy guy, and it was fine. And that's one thing I thought too, is, hey, in a pinch, if you don't have any water with you, these are totally fine to eat dry. There's nothing wrong with them. So yeah, there might be some recipe ideas that might hit me out of these that I might use. I'll have to figure something out. But have you had very many people tell you that they eat the breakfast ones without water in them, or am I the goofball?
You're the third person that has said that they just shake it up and just tip it up, and kind of like granola or something.
That's exactly what I did with it. Yeah. And I actually gave the mango one to a friend. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I wanted to make sure I wasn't hogging them all, so I gave one out. And he's not a paleo guy, and that's why I did it. So I made sure and had him try it. He's an outdoor guy too, and he loved them. So, what are your future plans? What do you have in the cooking up for the future of your company?
Well, I think for the summer months here, our focus is to get the next 5 meals, right? Yeah, 5 meals onto our website and into our production process and on the website and that whole, and really focus on getting the word out there. I think that's our biggest challenge right now is, there's millions of people on the paleo diet, and there's, a fraction of them are outdoor enthusiasts that are looking for this. And so just getting our product in front of those people is really going to be our push for the summer. And we're also beginning the process, as we talked about a little bit earlier, of the, local retailers. So I think that's our big push here for the next 6 months, is to focus really on that and, continually improving. And, our longer term goals are definitely to get in, down in front of, at some of the, shows like Paleo FX and, but I think we're going to try to focus on just continually improving our products, and trying to get it out there in front of people right now.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. You can have a great product, but if no one knows about it, it's not a great product. I learned that the hard way, because, hey, I don't come from a business marketing background either. Everything I started, I had to learn the business side. I'd started a business 10 years prior, but was something very different. It was more investing in my financial side of doing my own, managing my own finances, as far as I had properties and stocks and bonds, and I was managing my own portfolio and then trying to make more money with real estate and land, and that was a whole different animal. I mean, that was when I jumped into a real company format. I was like, I wrote all my books, I went, oh wait, I never took a marketing class, never took a business class. This could be a problem. It's a learning process. I learn more every single day on how to promote, and it's that fine line, I'm sure you guys know too, of not losing that moral compass, because marketing's a tricky animal. If you cross that line into the rubber dog turd salesman, you can't step back. You know what I mean? Once you get there, you can't come back. And once you cross that line, now you're in a whole different category of, you're just a pusher, is what I call it. You're just pushing a product that you don't necessarily care if it's good anymore. And that's the hard part. We all go through that balance, and it's really, really tough. And I've seen some people in the paleo world go completely the wrong way. And I've let them know about it, because I take this stuff very personally, because, I'm in my mid-40s and I've been around in the health industry and everything a long time. And it gets frustrating when I see people go to the, kind of the, I guess what I call it, the evangelist side of marketing, getting up and just touting something that is not a good product. It's not a good philosophy, and capitalizing on a movement. And, it just, I don't like it. It's in society all in general. But it's a tough one, because you have to make a living too. That's the hard part. You got to decide. Well, can I eat, or do I lose some of my morals and promote this product, or promote on something on a show I don't truly believe in? So I applaud you guys for doing it right, and sticking to your guns and staying to the online consumer and not trying to jump out there too quick. Have you thought about looking at Natural Foods Expo West or East?
It's been suggested to me. I've had several people mention that would be a great place for us to go, and a good fit for our products. And hopefully at some point we'll have time and energy and money to get out there to one of those.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I've been to 3 of them now, and I worked a booth last year for someone. And then the other 2 years I went to look for products. That's where I go for my stuff. I look around. And there's some very interesting companies there. I've seen companies come and go. I've seen trends come and go already. But there's a whole part it's for new products, and it's one part of a floor dedicated to very new products, natural products. And I'll tell you what, that's the first place I go now. I don't even mess around with the rest of the stuff. I go to the new one, and that's where I find the best products, actually. That's probably the best fit, but man, I know how much it costs. It is expensive to get up there. Then you got to pay for your hotel. Then you got to do all that. I know we're a little off topic, but I talk about entrepreneurship a lot. And because I get asked a lot of questions on how I started, and I just had someone hit me up the other day and basically had to life coach a bit, and it was interesting. Yeah, yeah, and this is someone in the business, and they were asking me advice. Well, me, you know, but I noticed that a lot of people want to know because my crowd's a little bit different than the paleo crowd in the sense that I'm in the survivalist, self-sufficiency, and there's some preppers, and I'm a little different animal. Even though I'm in the Primal Paleo community, I fall into a whole broader spectrum of people. And those communities are very interested in self-sufficiency and starting their own business, and how to do that, not be, not be kind of a part of the system, even though you technically are, but to live their life the way they want to. And that first part of it is figuring out how to pay the bills and start your own business. So, you guys have a good story, so I wanted to make sure people kind of understood, and some of the hard tribulations you go through, and showing. I mean, I see the boxes in the back. I think I see some, you see my stuff in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting in my new shipping area up in Washington, so I was shipping in California, and I moved all my stuff up here. So I'm 100% in Washington now, my company and me. So I know how it goes. But let people know how to find your products and your website, and any contact information you'd like to share.
Our website address is paleomealstogo.com, and our email is the same. Just if you want to contact us by email, it's info@paleomealstogo.com. That's TOGO.
Okay.
With an S, Paleo Meals. And our number is 224-725-3652.
Excellent. And I'll make sure I'll have all the links on this on YouTube, and also in when I put it on the blog post, so everyone will be able to click on it. You can always get a hold of me at contact@primalpowermethod.com. And I want to thank you, Dawn and Ty, for coming on today. I think you guys have a great product, and I'm excited about it as well. So we'll keep in touch, and I'd like to have you on in the future, and we'll talk about where you're at that point.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.